Good afternoon. I would like to welcome you to this graduation ceremony of the Graduate Institute's class of 2013. My name is Lisa Prügel. I'm the Deputy Director of the Institute, and I'll have the pleasure of leading the ceremonies today. Dear graduates, dear parents and guests, dear colleagues, professors, staff of the Graduate Institute, graduations are happy occasions we celebrate. Most of all, of course, the students who have been successful, but also professors who have been successful, and parents who breathe a sigh of relief and are proud of all their children have accomplished. At graduations, the world seems to be just right for everybody. We celebrate the end of a process of learning and teaching, of a period that has changed you, but that also has changed us, the teachers. And we call it success. We have taught, you have learned, and together we can proudly sit back and look back. And looking back is what I would like to do with you today. You have received an outstanding education at this institution. You're prepared well for the challenges you will face as you enter careers and as you make contributions to this world. You're among a select group of students that was admitted to this institution out of a highly competitive pool of international applicants 2 years ago. And you came with good foundations and remarkable promise. The fact that you are here today means that you lived up to this promise, that you excelled in a highly demanding educational environment. You have good reason to be proud of yourself, and I think you should give yourself a round of applause. You are the last class of many students who, since the Graduate Institute moved into the Villa Barton in 1935, are collecting their diplomas here on the lawn with the glorious view in the background. We're looking back at an almost 80-year history of the Villa being associated with the Graduate Institute. It was not always pink, by the way. And there was a Graduate Institute before Villa Barton. After all, our founding goes back to 1927. But the Villa has long stood for the Graduate Institute, first as Haute Études Internationales, and since 2008 as IHED. Institut des Hautes Études Internationales et du Développement. And as all the excitement of current students, faculty, and staff is focused on moving to the Maison de la Paix, I think it is apropos at this graduation to focus on the institute you have known, or perhaps at least on the building that has symbolized it. So that's what I'll be talking about a little bit today, and bear with me, I'm not going to be too long, but I think a speech is necessary at this occasion. Behind every successful institution there is a woman, as you know, and this is no different for the Graduate Institute. The villa was donated to the Swiss Confederation by Alexandrina Barton in 1936. And in many ways, Madame Barton lived parts of the mission of the institute that the Institute stands for, even before its founding. She was a key figure in the Geneva international scene, running a highly successful diplomatic salon in which she gathered statesmen, diplomats, and politicians for informal discussions on contemporary issues. Her purpose was to contribute to peacemaking by creating an atmosphere of mutual confidence and respect among delegates with often opposite positions and strained personal relations. An offspring of the British aristocracy, Alexandrina Peel in 1866 married into a political family, becoming the wife of Daniel Barton, the consul of Great Britain and Ireland in Geneva. They settled into the villa, at the time it was known as Villa Lammermoor, in 1892. The villa at the time looked quite different from today. It had been rebuilt in the style of an English country cottage. The magnificent linden tree that we all know already guarded the entrance. Norman Scott, who taught at the Institute for many years, describes its appearance in his history of the Institute in the following way. The handsome reception rooms, and by the way, the director just vacated these today, so they may actually be open. They're magnificent to look at. They have a lot of wood paneling and a very nice fireplace. You may be able to sneak in there after the ceremony, actually. So these handsome reception rooms giving on to flowered terraces, an alpine garden, and groomed lawns where white peacocks held sway provided an attractive cadre for receiving distinguished visitors. There was better still, moored offshore, like there, Union Jack, fluttering in the breeze below the pennant of Geneva, lay the largest yacht on Lac Léman, belonging to her husband. The logbook of the yacht from 1890 onwards recorded no fewer than 2,600 names as visitors, providing testimony to the Bartons' love for hosting. Joseph Avenol, Assistant Secretary General and later Secretary General of the League of Nations, is reported to have said, and I quote, I'm trying my French here, you've got to bear with me. La Villa Lammermoor a été le centre social des délégations to the League. And he had the following to say about Alex Barton. Suivant avec passion les activités de chacun, elle ne faisait elle-même aucune politique. C'est là le secret de la confiance qu'elle inspirait. Elle a été véritablement l'hôtesse de la Société des Nations. Count Grandi, I guess. I'm looking at my Italian colleague here who's frowning. The Italian foreign minister added, no one would think of beginning his work at Geneva without first paying a visit to the Villa Lammermoor, and no one would have left without saying goodbye to Mrs. Barton. For all of us, she was the Queen of Geneva. Now, if it would have been for the powers of the day, they would have liked for Alex Barton to vacate her property and sell it to the League of Nations. And there was considerable pressure on her to do so. The plan was to build next to the lake the new Palais des Nations. The League already had acquired the neighboring properties, the Villas Moignet and Bartoloni, that you can visit when you walk in that direction. So only the Barton property prevented the planners from expanding the plant building to the already existing ILO building on that side. The Centre Rapart, which now houses the WTO. But Alex Barton dug in. She could not conceive of letting go of her home in which she had grown up and in which she ultimately lived with her husband and ran her salon. So in the end, she decided to donate the property not to the League, but to the Swiss Confederation, with conditions attached that de facto precluded construction on the property. Namely, that the property be not divided and that the trees standing on the property would be preserved in their present condition. In this way, the villas at the lake became a public park. Villa Barton was leased to Geneva by the Confederation, and it became home of the Graduate Institute after the death of Alexandra Barton in December 1935. Of course, the League didn't survive in any case. Meanwhile, the institute flourished, enrolling about 100 students annually in its first decades, 45% of whom studying at the doctoral level, and operating with about 12 professors. During the war, it became a refuge for intellectuals fleeing fascist governments. The Italian jurist Guglielmo Ferrero and the German legal theorist and philosopher Hans Kelsen both found at the Graduate Institute the freedom to pursue their work. They were joined by distinguished historians such as Karl Burkhardt and renowned Vienna School economists Ludwig von Mises and Wilhelm Röpke, professing an approach that strongly influenced also the first director of the Institute, William Rappard. Raymond Aron, John Kenneth Galbraith, Friedrich von Hayek, Harold Lasky, Gunnar Myrdal, Jacob Weiner, Arnold Wolfers, and Alfred Zimmern all spent time teaching at the Institute. And Institute professors won at least 3 Nobel Prizes. René Cassin for his role in drafting the Human Rights Declaration, and Robert Mundell and Maurice Allais for their contributions in the field of economics. Up until the 1950s, the Institute was largely financed by American foundations, Rockefeller in particular. It was based on a firm financial footing after the war, gaining financial commitments from the Swiss Confederation and the Canton of Geneva, which continued to be its main funders to this day. With decolonization and the Cold War, new topics appeared on the horizon, leading to an expansion of the faculty, to the addition of security studies and a faculty in political science/international relations. The number of students also rose, including a rapidly rising group of students from the University of Geneva studying for the licence in international studies. And Alex Barton's villa burst from the seams. In the late 1950s, a major renovation was undertaken, turning her English cottage into the Pink Villa, gaining room and functionality at a considerable loss of charm. The new era also saw the creation of the Institut Africain, which split off HEI in 1973 to form the Institute for Development Studies. 5 years ago, IUED rejoined HEI to form the new IHEID and was able to add a 5th department, namely anthropology and sociology. We're all glad about that. Spread out over 5 buildings, the new Graduate Institute, with 800 students and 56 professors, has been looking forward to moving into the Maison de la Paix, a move that is finally coming to pass. Villa Barton will remain part of our heritage and will from now on house the Institute's executive education program. But what you will remember from the Graduate Institute are the Pavillon Rigaud, with its third world charm, its courtyard and its barbecues, the building at Vaucluse, with its forbidding hallways and the refuge of the library, and Rothschild, with its modern classroom and its welcoming, so old-fashioned cafeteria. What you'll remember is the sprints from Rothschild to Rigaud between classes, always more difficult uphill than the other way around, and the parking lot at Vaucluse, always a good place to run into people. These are memories that will stay. But I invite you as well to make the new home of the Graduate Institute part of your memory. The spirit of Alex Barton, of the many professors that have taught at this institution, and of the students that have made the place come to life with their curiosity and their critical minds. All this will move into the Maison de la Paix as well. So that regardless of any future renovations the Pink Villa may have to endure, its spirit will always live in the Maison de la Paix. You have been patient listening to me lecturing on Graduate Institute history, and of course, all you want is a diploma. But before we get to that, let me make sure to thank all who have contributed to the fact that we are here today to celebrate your graduation. First and foremost, that would be your parents and friends who gave you the foundation to become what you are today and who supported you emotionally throughout your studies, and I have no doubt also financially. They deserve recognition for enabling your success. Let's give them a round of applause. There also are your teachers, the professors of the Graduate Institute, who share with you a passion for advancing knowledge and world affairs and put this passion into their classrooms and who mentored you more or less patiently as you crafted your capstone research project, the dissertations. I think they deserve a special thanks. Last but not least, let me thank the staff of the Graduate Institute, who work in the background and make sure the Institute runs smoothly, but especially the people in the student office, many of them here today, who shepherded you through the thicket of rules pertaining to curricula, enrollments, and life at the Institute. And not to forget the staff of our communications office, who have again shown perfection in putting together this graduation. Thank you for your tireless commitment. Dear graduates, you are perhaps the most valuable part of the Graduate Institute. Through your intelligence and accomplishments, you validate our work. So as you leave, I wish you Godspeed. I wish that you carry with you the values that this institution stands for, and that you build your own maison, your own villa, on the foundations that it has provided you. Congratulations and all the best. I would like to invite now onto the podium Professor Bruno Arcidiacono, the Directeur d'études, to lead the presentation of the master's diplomas. Can I leave this here?
Chères étudiantes, chers étudiants, chers parents, nous allons maintenant commencer la remise des diplômes par les diplômes de Master en Affaires internationales, Master in International Affairs. Je vais lire... Je vais lire vos noms et vous appeler. Je vous prie de m'excuser de la manière dont je vais en prononcer un certain nombre. Donc, je vais commencer par Madame Haïfa Aboubakar. Madame Veronica Aleotti. Madame Lara Atanasievich. Madame Johanna Ballas. Monsieur Benjamin Benouali. Monsieur Christian Brandley. Madame Sandra Cecilia Cabrera Guardia. Monsieur Adam Cohen. Monsieur Joost Ditchrist. Monsieur Michel Drabic. Monsieur Wendelin Federer. Madame Justine Fleischner. On n'est pas là. Écoutez, Monsieur Joseph Gaylord. Madame Valéria Golizadeh Gashkar. Madame Lucia Giavitto. Monsieur Alper Hanner. Madame Jessica Haney. Madame Mariam Negar Hemati. Monsieur Alexander Claude Houg. Monsieur Lawrence Insam. Monsieur Charles Maxwell Lantz. La photo. Madame Kanika Malik. Monsieur Marco Maringoni. Monsieur Ebenezer Maté. Madame Laure Elise Messinger Pereira. Madame Pamela Isabel Morales Valenzuela. Monsieur Heinrich Nolte. Madame Julia Palmiano. Madame Artemis Papoutsakis. Madame Stéphanie Perazzone. Monsieur Eric Rachi. Madame Maëlle Reichenbach. Madame Manuela Rótolo Conceição Costa Araújo. Madame Miriam Maria San Giorgio. Monsieur Connor Satelli. Madame Jennifer Seaman. Monsieur Tobias Sommer. Monsieur Stéphane Stanteshki. Madame Isaline Torrens. Madame Petra Valterova. Étudiants diplômés en affaires internationales qui n'ont pas pu être présents lors de cette remise de diplôme. Monsieur Michael Anthony. Monsieur Direi Batija. Madame Eleanor Bailey. Monsieur Stanley Denison. Mallet, Madame Daniela Romero, Monsieur David Izikait, Monsieur Zerioun Abebe Jigsaw, et Madame Kira Yudina. Bien, nous allons maintenant continuer avec les diplômés du master en études du développement. Monsieur Kwame Akoto Danso. Madame Ludmila Azo. Madame Camila Batista Guimaraes Fonseca. Madame Lorraine Bezera Porciuncula. Monsieur Lucien Blazer. Monsieur Victor Brèche. Madame Anna Carolina Cabral Melonetto. Madame Lindsay Canham. Madame Lisbeth Casier. Madame Sophia Condès. Madame Noël Derbelé. Madame Sarah De Ventura. Madame Lou Denizar. Monsieur Ting Fang. Madame Sarah Frey. Madame Yolanda Fricci. Madame Catherine Garden. Madame Paroma Gauze. Madame Caroline Honegger. Madame Anaïs Mariana Kamfer-Zea. Madame Éléonore Cognier. Madame Ioni Kim. Madame Céline Alix Marie Krebs. Madame Rushane Mackenzie Richards. Madame Alexandra Meyerhans. Madame Beatriz Angelica Ochoa Velasquez. Madame Patricia Paramita. Madame Chloé Parra. Madame Priti Patnaik. Madame Dia Ratna Pratiwi. Madame Nour Kamar. Madame Simone Renner. Madame Livia Ribeiro das Neves. Madame Danielle Rosset. Madame Nado Saab. Madame Yosra Saad. Madame Karen Saez. Monsieur Samuel Segura Cobos. Madame Jie Sheng. Madame Seo Young So. Madame Kia Judith Souverain. Madame Christine Tonne. Madame Paula Andrea Victoria Muñoz. Madame Sabina Voicu. Madame Mariam Walton. Et pour finir, Madame Charlisil Zurker. Je vais lire maintenant la liste des diplômés absents, donc qui n'ont pas pu être aujourd'hui avec nous. Monsieur Rafael Barreto Souza. Madame Julie Berger, Madame Marisa Burton, Monsieur Paul Chick, Monsieur Mehmet Kerem Koban, Madame Pounet Davar Ardakani, Monsieur Edgar Sinoué et Skinkabariga, Madame Maria Fonrouge, Madame Hélène Gobert, Madame Anna Carolina Guerra Alves Pecni, Monsieur Raphaël Jacques Rodriguez, Madame Yuki Kobayashi, Madame Ayako Ogawa, Madame Sebnem Pala, Madame Marie Pellissier-Combescure, Madame Monica Serlavos Rodriguez, et Monsieur Daniel Zlomka. Nous allons maintenant passer des masters interdisciplinaires aux masters disciplinaires. Et nous commençons par le master en anthropologie et sociologie du développement. Madame Karen Elena Marine Hernandez. Madame Ania Petrovani. Monsieur Michael Samaoui. Et a reçu le diplôme mais n'a pas pu venir aujourd'hui, Madame Wendy Lynn Akini Okolo. Je passe au master en droit international. Madame Maria Barillas. Madame Célina Bruderer. Madame Laura Crivelli. Madame Stéphanie Cunningham. Madame Zoé Ilané Falquet. Madame Andrea Florence de Mello Agouillard. Madame Ngok Tan Vi Huyn. Monsieur Alexandre Larouche Maltais. Madame Larissa Mello Ferreira Silva Andrade. Madame Naïma Fiorenza Müller. Madame Natsumi Oka. Madame Karina Perez Rouco. Madame Catherine Quinn. Madame Barbara Sartore. Madame Francesca Scalco. Madame Alphée September. Monsieur Jordan Shefford. Madame Anastasia Smirnova. Madame Maria Tait Slis. Monsieur Basile Valder. Ah, c'était bien difficile. Madame Kiros Sereke Vegatabran. Monsieur Mathias Winterberg. Et la liste des diplômés absents, Madame Arancha Cuadrado Pérez Broseta. Madame Oana Ikim. Madame Monica Yamel Naime Henkel. Et Monsieur Serge Nengali Kumakamba. Bien, nous passons maintenant au master en économie internationale. Et nous commençons avec Monsieur Diego Alejandro Camacho Clavillo. Madame Laura Siron. Madame Anastasia dos Santos. Madame Andrea Giselle. Madame Katia Mann. Monsieur Raoul Merotra. Monsieur David Yanis Joachim Riffisch. Madame Mareike Tisling. Il n'y a pas d'économistes absents. Tous les économistes sont là. Bien, alors on va terminer en beauté avec le master en histoire internationale. Il paraît que j'ai oublié la science politique. Donc on termine pas encore. Monsieur Valentino Arico. Madame Doina Anka Cretu. Monsieur Andreas Oltberget. Monsieur Aditya Kiran Kakati. Monsieur Nassim Kiamouche. Monsieur Mihai Tudor Mihailescu. Monsieur Pierre-François Righetti. Monsieur William Bradford Sharman. Monsieur Bello Olan-Revaillu Taiwo. Monsieur Marcos Tamaritz. Et Madame Aurélie Vuy. Et les diplômés en histoire internationale absents sont Monsieur Alain Bartelman, Monsieur Yoshua Tew, et Monsieur Nicolas Youst. C'est avec les masters en relations internationales, sciences politiques que l'on termine en réalité. Et Madame Xenia de Graaf. Monsieur Florian Egloff. Monsieur Tristan Hirschlinger. Et Madame Shirin Narimbaeva. Est absente Madame Caitlin Hanahan.
Well, does that mean you have graduated? Should we do another round of applause for everybody to graduate? Before we do that, yes, before we go out and celebrate, I have the pleasure of leading through the award of some special prizes. Some students did some outstanding work, and there's a number of funders we have that have provided prizes to recognize their achievements. I would like to start with the presentation of the Arditi Prize in International Relations, which is actually a prize that is given to the best dissertation in international relations in Geneva, not just at the Graduate Institute, and I'm very pleased to announce that our winner this year is here at the Graduate Institute, and her name is Julia Otten. Julia, are you here? Yes, of course. Julia actually graduated last year with a master's in international law. She wrote a dissertation that was entitled Narratives in International Law. And this was a very interesting, very creative attempt to project into international law categories and schemes borrowed from literature. The work sheds light on the processes whereby narratives or a certain way of talking about things are created. The dissertation was a very refreshing way to use different disciplines, to combine ideas from different disciplines in order to develop some unique insights into international law. Julia, congratulations. Obviously, you have impressed a lot of people. I'm really proud of you.
Cher professeur Prügel, cher professeur Andrea Bianchi, mesdames et messieurs les professeurs, chers diplômés, mesdames et messieurs, je remercie les membres du jury qui m'ont attribué le prix Arditi en relations internationales. Je dois avouer que quand j'ai reçu le premier email qui m'annonçait cette bonne nouvelle, j'ai d'abord pensé que je recevais le programme de l'auditorium Arditi ici à plein palais, qui est soutenu par la Fondation et dans lequel j'assistais à des projections de films durant mes études. J'ai dû relire 2 fois le mail pour comprendre la nouvelle. Je suis honorée d'avoir reçu un prix de la Fondation Arditi car celle-ci soutient autant la recherche scientifique que les arts. La pensée scientifique n'est malheureusement pas souvent aussi créative que le cinéma ou la littérature. Pourtant, notre but est le même. Captiver et convaincre notre auditoire. Ce but partagé est à la base de la problématique de mon mémoire. Comment, en droit international, peut-on narrer les faits pour qu'ils soient convaincants? Le droit international évolue en fonction des échanges des arguments qui sont liés les uns aux autres. Par exemple, un juge rédige un jugement ou un avis consultatif. Ces arguments vont être repris dans des articles, dans les commentaires des traités. Les professeurs vont les interpréter, les discuter avec les étudiants dans les conférences et dans leur réseau. J'ai d'abord essayé de comprendre comment est structurée la narration en droit international et qu'est-ce qui lui donne de l'autorité. J'ai ensuite analysé ce que cela signifie dans le cas de la sécurité collective et du principe du développement durable. À partir de ces exemples, j'ai, entre autres, conclu que la narration joue un grand rôle dans le système rhétorique du droit international. Je remercie encore la Fondation Arditi car je suis touchée par cette reconnaissance de mon travail malgré son approche peu orthodoxe qui m'a parfois été reprochée. Et je remercie particulièrement le professeur Andrea Bianchi avec qui j'ai eu de la chance de travailler et qui m'a soutenue et conseillée dans ma démarche. Pour finir, je souhaite à tous les diplômés de garder leur curiosité et de continuer à porter un regard nouveau sur ce que nous pensons déjà connaître.
Merci.
Thank you, Julia. The second prize we are awarding is the Prix Pierre Dubois, which is awarded for an outstanding PhD thesis in international history and politics, and I'm inviting Ms. Dubois to please join me here on the podium.
Mesdames et messieurs, c'est pour moi un immense plaisir de remettre aujourd'hui le prix Pierre Dubois, qui récompense effectivement la meilleure thèse de doctorat en histoire internationale soutenue à l'Institut pendant cette dernière année académique. Le prix a été décerné à Madame Francesca Piana, pour sa thèse intitulée Towards the International Refugee Regime, Humanitarianism in the Wake of the First World War. Francesca a travaillé sous la direction du professeur André Libby. Bravo et félicitations à Francesca. Cette thèse éclaire sous des perspectives nouvelles et originales les acteurs, les circonstances et les processus qui ont conduit, après la Première Guerre mondiale et au niveau international, à des actions politiques et humanitaires en faveur des anciens prisonniers de guerre et des réfugiés. Compte tenu de leur nombre et de leurs conditions terribles, notamment les réfugiés russes, grecs et arméniens qui avaient tout perdu dans des circonstances tragiques et étaient à la recherche d'un abri un tant soit peu sûr, cette période qui a suivi la Première Guerre mondiale représente un tournant absolu, à la fois dans l'histoire des déplacements forcés de population et de la politique internationale. Grâce à sa recherche fouillée, conduite en plusieurs langues et dans de nombreuses archives, Francesca a pu montrer que les opérations humanitaires menées par de nombreux acteurs, les solutions mises au point, les doctrines élaborées et les réseaux créés ont conduit à l'émergence d'un régime international de réfugiés dans les années 20. Cette étude est d'une très grande actualité aujourd'hui, à un moment où les problèmes de migration posent des défis majeurs au niveau global et où on s'interroge sur l'étendue, les limites et l'avenir de l'action humanitaire. Montrer les solutions innovatrices mises au point pendant la période entre deux guerres et le lien intrinsèque entre l'action humanitaire et motivation politique est capital précisément pour l'évaluation du système international de réfugiés d'aujourd'hui. Il s'agit donc bel et bien d'un exercice, d'un travail d'histoire du temps présent. Après sa thèse, Francesca ne s'accordera aucun répit, vos valises sont déjà faites. Elle partira aux États-Unis, à Columbia University, où, grâce à une bourse de recherche post-doc du Fonds national suisse, Francesca va mener une nouvelle recherche sur les femmes occidentales dans l'action humanitaire de la fin du XIXe siècle et jusque dans les années 1950. Remettre le prix Pierre Dubois, aujourd'hui pour la 6e année consécutive, représente toujours pour moi une très grande émotion, puisqu'il porte le nom de mon mari, qui a été professeur à l'Institut pendant 15 ans en histoire et politique internationale et qui nous a quittés prématurément il y a un peu plus de 6 ans. Selon son vœu, j'ai créé cette fondation Pierre Dubois pour l'histoire du temps présent qui vise à soutenir des recherches et des publications sur l'histoire du temps présent, qui offre des bourses à l'Institut pour des étudiants latino-américains, qui organise en partenariat avec l'Institut des conférences et des colloques publics et qui offre précisément ce prix pour la meilleure thèse en histoire. Je suis très heureuse de vous remettre ce prix aujourd'hui, Francesca, qui récompense un travail de haute qualité, le vôtre, sur un sujet important, délicat et de grande actualité. Je suis aussi émue parce que vous aviez connu Pierre et il serait aujourd'hui le plus heureux des hommes à applaudir à votre réussite. Je vous souhaite de tout cœur beaucoup de bonheur et beaucoup de succès pour votre avenir, à la fois dans votre vie professionnelle et dans votre vie privée. Bravo et toutes mes félicitations.
Oui, c'est bien mon moment pour remercier. Chère Irina, chers professeurs, chers amis, chers diplômés, c'est avec grande joie et reconnaissance que j'accepte le prix Pierre Dubois. Ces prix arrivent à conclusion d'un long parcours à l'Institut que m'a vu naviguer entre l'ancien Institut universitaire d'haute études internationales jusqu'à l'Institut d'haute études internationales et du développement. C'était justement lors des pauses pendant 2 heures de travail à la bibliothèque qui, à l'époque, se trouvait encore dans le sous-sol de l'Organisation mondiale du commerce, donc il y a quelques temps, que j'ai commencé à connaître le professeur Pierre Dubois. Les cafés étant l'élément qui nous rassemblait tous, nous discutions et échangeons souvent quelques mots, des fois en italien. C'était toujours en italien, en petite partie, que mon examen final des masters se déroula. Cela s'est passé à la fin de ma première année à Genève. Mon français a été encore largement inspiré par la langue de Dante. Ça s'est quand même amélioré depuis. Et le professeur Dubois m'aida à trouver les quelques mots qui tardaient à venir et à su voir au-delà de mes limites linguistiques. C'était un joli, souriant, positif souvenir que je gardais de lui. Mes années de thèse ont été une période intellectuellement très enrichissante. 2 personnes n'arrêtèrent jamais de m'encourager dans mon questionnement historique, de me pousser dans la réflexion critique ainsi que dans le dépassement de mes limites, tout en restant à mon écoute, en respectant ma liberté intellectuelle. André Libich, mon ancien directeur de thèse, a été et reste mon maestro. Avec Davide Rodogno, je partageais curiosité et enthousiasme pour la recherche. J'aimerais remercier tous les professeurs du département d'histoire internationale, ainsi que les personnels administratifs et les personnels de la bibliothèque pour leur collaboration. Mes remerciements vont aussi aux archivistes, avec qui j'ai travaillé tout au long de ces dernières années de recherche. Ces parcours n'auraient absolument jamais été les mêmes sans mes collègues assistants et mes amis, qui ont été ma deuxième famille ici. Chacun de vous, de façon merveilleusement différente et éclectique, a amené des éclats de lumière dans ma vie. En dernier, c'est aux générations de ma famille qui subirent la captivité dans des camps d'emprisonnement, ainsi qu'à ceux qui quittèrent leur terre afin de construire une vie meilleure que ce travail est dédié. Mes parents, Attilio et Donatella, m'ont soutenu de façon inconditionnelle depuis mon enfance. David n'est pas qu'un frère, mais aussi un cher ami. À vous tous, mes remerciements les plus sincères, et aux diplômés, je dis ad maiora.
The next prize we're presenting is the Mariano Gracia Rubio Prize, which is awarded for an outstanding master's dissertation in international law, and I would like to invite my colleague, Professor Bianchi, to please join me on the podium.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lisa. It's always an honor and a joy to be together with you on this very special day. Before I accomplish the task for which Lisa called me up to the lectern to discharge the function of delivering the 2013 Mariano Garcia Rubio Prize, let me just briefly say a few words to congratulate the recipient of the Aditi Prize, Julia Otten. I know she's going to hate me for this public acknowledgement. She's going to hold it against me for the rest of my life, yet I think it's a very well-deserved prize. I think what you did was remarkable. Julia and I worked for 2 years. She was my research assistant, and we worked on a number of projects together, one of which has just been brought to completion. It's a book on transparency that I co-edited and on which Julia helped me out a lot. Why am I saying this? I don't think you should be particularly interested in learning that this book entitled Transparency in International Law is going to appear for Cambridge University Press in a few weeks. That's not the point of it, but simply because I have decided to be transparent today and tell you and the graduate of the International Law Department how I and my colleagues actually proceed to select the award-winning paper. I think it's 3 years ago that we set up this procedure. I don't think there is anything to hide, so that's why I want to be transparent, because I suspect there is a great deal of curiosity out there how this kind of prizes are awarded. And what happens is this: we all supervise several memoirs, and we get together, and any one of us who has a memoir who he or she thinks is particularly worth, he or she puts it forward and nominates the memoir for a prize. And according to this process, which is a fairly simple, straightforward one, you end up with 3, 4, 5 memoirs, and then the decision is taken by those colleagues who have not nominated any memoir at all. And we thought that this was the best procedure in terms of fairness and equitableness. The outcome may be different because we have different sensitivities. It depends on who gets to select any particular year the award-winning memoir, but I think we got the procedure right, and I'm very proud of this. You might also be curious to learn what the prize consists of. And again, there is no secret, no reason to keep this confidential. The prize consists of a very nice certificate with the name of the winner printed in it. That allows me also to dispel a myth. You might have noticed in the program for today's ceremony that the Mariano Garcia Rubio's prize is the only one prize for which there is no name of the winner on it. I feel a bit responsible for it because I'm a little bit like a child in this kind of things. I like to keep the sense of surprise and the suspense. So that's the reason. But it's not that we have decided who the winner is overnight, because the certificate had to be printed 10 days ago, so we know it for a long time. But that explains why it's not in the program. And then there is a beautiful engraved medal, which is made every year by the parents of Mariano Garcia Rubio in Argentina and shipped to the Graduate Institute, which is the emotional part of the prize. And then also a monetary award, which is the collection of the contributions of the professors of the law department. So that's what the prize is about. Now, just a few words, because this is a very special moment every year. It's a moment of both joy and sorrow. It's a powerful reminder of the words of Khalil Gibran when he said that joy and sorrow are inseparable. The two come together. And you can be sure that if you sit with one of them, remember that the other one is sleeping on your bed. So yes, there is sorrow because this prize is named after and dedicated to the memory of a young, promising international law scholar, teaching assistant of the International Law Department, whose life was taken far too prematurely by an appall in the seas. But his memory lingers on, lives through the years, also thanks to this prize. But it's also a moment of joy because, after all, it's a reward for a piece of creative scholarship for what we think is the best master's dissertation for this year. So the two come together, and to make a very special emotional moment, which I feel privileged to administer as head of the International Law Department, also on behalf of my colleagues. And I think that at this point in time, the suspense has reached such a level to become almost unbearable. So I think I shall now declare the winner of the 2013 Mariano Garcia Rubio's Prize. And the winner is Maria Teitzlis with the work You might be interested to learn what she wrote on, nonetheless. She wrote a very interesting and creative piece, the title of which is Exporting Legality, the Rise and Fall of Extraterritorial Consular Jurisdiction in the Ottoman Empire and China, which we appreciated very much, and we are very happy to deliver you the Mariano Garcia Rubio Prize.
Well, one more to go. Man, Andrea. The final prize we are awarding is presented by the Alumni Association of the Graduate Institute and is for an exceptional, outstanding PhD thesis. I would like to invite Mr. Anthony Murdoch, the president of the committee, to please join me on the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Frugel. Good afternoon to you all. Bon après-midi. Mesdames, Messieurs, chers professeurs, chers diplômés, bravo pour tous vos efforts. C'est avec grand plaisir cet après-midi qu'au nom de l'Association des anciens de notre institut, nous présentons un prix pour la meilleure thèse. Et chaque année, nous choisissons une thèse dans un secteur particulier. Cette année, nous avons demandé au département de l'économie, au professorat, de rechercher un lauréat potentiel pour ce prix. Cette année, c'est la thèse 997. Ça veut dire que depuis la fondation de notre institut, il y a eu 997 thèses. Je les ai vues tout à l'heure dans la nouvelle bibliothèque. C'est vraiment une collection impressionnante. Toutes les thèses sont là depuis la thèse numéro 1, décernée en 1928. Allez-y voir, ça vaut la peine. Notre lauréat, vous le connaissez déjà parce que son nom est imprimé dans le programme. C'est le docteur Matthias Rieger qui est là, à qui je vais demander de venir dans quelques instants pour qu'il vous parle de son travail. Sa thèse a été rédigée avec la supervision, je ne sais pas si c'est le bon mot, du professeur Jean-Louis Arcan, qui était son directeur de thèse. Et le jury était composé du professeur Richard Baldwin, en membre du jury interne, et au niveau externe, du professeur Joachim von Braun de l'Université de Bonn. C'est une thèse assez particulière d'ailleurs, car les thèses dont nous venons décerner les prix ont un titre et forment un tout, alors que Mathias a fait une thèse un petit peu 3-in-1. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? C'est une thèse qui était rédigée en anglais d'ailleurs. So, here we go. A 3-in-1 thesis. 3 separate areas, 3 essays, combining and bringing together HIV/AIDS, malnourishment, and state fragility. The title is 3 Essays in Development Economics. And I'd like to quote from the abstract. Matthias knows it far too well, so I'll let you talk about other things in a moment. In his abstract, Matthias says, this thesis consists of 3 essays in development economics with a focus on health. Specifically, I consider the subjects of HIV/AIDS and conflict in Burundi, as well as child malnutrition in Cambodia and Senegal. While the essays are distinct and can be read by themselves, I start with a general introduction underlining the relationship between the topics as well as their relevance on a global scale. The first essay studies the link between civil war and HIV/AIDS at the micro-level context of Burundi. The second essay examines the relationship between risk and time preferences and nutritional status of children and adults as indicated by their height and weight. And I study this link in the context of poor households in Cambodia. The third essay, and this is something rather particular, I may not be up to date with exactly how academic studies are made nowadays, but it is co-authored with Natascha Wagner. Now, Matthias and Natascha worked together on this, but they did a sort of double deal because Natascha Wagner was a fellow PhD student of Matthias's here at the Institute, and an earlier version of this third chapter, this third essay, was included as a co-authored essay in her PhD thesis, defended in September 2012. So I felt that was worthwhile mentioning in terms of the collaboration. And the third essay considers the dynamics of malnutrition. Child malnutrition, pervasive in developing countries, and anthropometric measures such as weight and height for age have proven to be reliable indicators of short-term underweight and stunting. And rather than studying these indicators separately, we looked at their interaction and carved out child health dynamics. A few words about Dr. Riga. He is currently the Max Weber Fellow in Economics at the European University Institute in Florence, Italy. In actual fact, he's just started there a few months ago. His undergraduate work, before he came here to Geneva, was a BA in Economics and Social Sciences from the Free University of Bolzano, as you know, in northern Italy. I have his CV here. There is an impressive list of articles, research papers, authored individually, co-authored with others. One which I felt was particularly interesting and which is a co-authored work in progress at the moment is, can we build social capital? Question mark. And he's looking at evidence from Cambodia to answer one way or another this particular question. So, my dear friends, that is the sort of outside story of Matthias Riga's thesis. I'd like now to ask him to come up here and give you the inside story, his background to this particular thesis. And before you do so, Matthias, I'd like to present you with not only the certificate, but also a recognition of your intellectual contribution to this institute.
Well, thank you for these kind words, and you summarized it very well, my thesis. Let me give you a bit the inside story why I came to work like this. About 5 years ago, I decided to do a PhD in development economics, not knowing what development economics really is. I came from international trade, so I wrote Professor Arcan an email, I want to do a PhD in development economics. He's like, fine, you want to do a PhD in development economics? About 4 days later, I received an email, you're going to Burundi tomorrow for 5 months. Me, I've never been to Africa, Latin America, outside of Europe, so I found myself in Burundi, surrounded by rebels and the like, and then you start looking around, what topics could I work on? And that's how I came to work on the topics in this story, because then I went on to Cambodia, working there for a few months, and then in Morocco and in Senegal, mainly working for the World Bank. So that's why these connected topics. And I think a PhD like this is possible at the Institute because there are other disciplines. So the last 3 years, I was hosted at the Center for Conflict Development and Peace Building. And these are mainly political scientists, but they welcomed an economist nevertheless. And that's when you really start doing development economics, when you work with anthropologists and you work at the micro level with political scientists. And that's how this thesis came all about. And so most of the thesis was about child nutrition, and I handed in my PhD just 3 days before my first son was born. So now I'm experimenting myself with, with child nutrition. So let me thank you again for the prize, and I thank my supervisors, Jean-Louis Arcan and Richard Baldwin. It's been a very rewarding experience, and I'm going to miss the Institute a lot, especially Pavillon Rigaud.
Yeah, congratulations again. Well, as you know, we're coming to the end of this ceremony, and I'm going to take advantage of doing a little commercial on behalf of the Association of the Alumni. There are 8 of us in the International Committee representing the alumni worldwide, our global diaspora, as I call it. We are in Tokyo, Heibonshin in Tokyo, Paul Mathieu in Washington, Marcela Salazar in Bogota, Kafofo Nyatunga in Lomé, and 4 of us here in Geneva, myself, Jennifer in the World Economic Forum, Frédéric Santerre also here in Geneva, and Walter Stresemann in Geneva. So the 8 of us represent the Alumni Association. Now you, if you are not staying on to do a PhD, as from now you are alumni, whether you know it or not. And I do recommend that you go to the website, look and see what it's all about, and consider maintaining a strong link with the Institut. Nous avons la première réunion des anciens de l'Institut, the International Alumni Reunion, 8 and 9 November in the Maison de la Paix, 8-9 Novembre, Maison de la Paix. Notez la date, don't miss it. And we look forward to seeing you there very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Murdoch. There's one important thing that still has to happen. We have the pleasure to, I should say, listening to Connor Sadley, the Student Association President. Connor, please.
Oh good, another speech. Before we get to that speech, let's do something a little bit more interesting, something that I have the honor to do, and I'm very excited to do, which is to introduce 5 students who were recently nominated as class leaders. We just heard about the importance and the incredible mission of our Alumni Association. These students will guide us forward in staying connected and staying a part of the Institute community. They were nominated. We have a class leader for MIA, International Affairs, a class leader for MDev, Development, and class leaders for the disciplinary programs as a whole. These students, yeah, right, it's wonderful. These students were nominated by their classmates and by their friends and will play a key role in coordinating our network amongst ourselves as we go into the future. From the Masters in International Affairs, there are 2 class leaders. First, Christian Brandli. And secondly, Marco Marangioni. From the... Somebody had to fall or it's not graduation. From the Masters in Development Studies, there's 1 class leader, Anaïs Kamfer-Sayat. And from the disciplinary programs, there are 2 class representatives. First, Marcos Tamaris Kaufman. One second. And secondly, Aurélie Veuille. Madam Prugel, Professor Arcidiacono, Institute, faculty and staff, guests, family, friends, and class of 2013. We made it. Let me speak first briefly to the family and friends and faculty that are present, including the hundreds of supporters currently streaming this ceremony online from around the world. Since most of you don't know me, a quick introduction. My name is Connor Sadley, and I had the honor of being the president of the Graduate Institute Student Association, or GISA. Because of that job, I had the good fortune of being able to meet so many of our students. And I learned a lot. Maslow's hierarchy of needs tells us that food, water, and sleep are the most basic necessities of life, but I learned there's a more fundamental level, which is high-speed Wi-Fi. I discovered the resiliency of our students' digestive systems faced with a steady diet of cheap supermarket sandwiches and overpriced Starbucks coffee on 2 hours of sleep during finals week. But if I could tell you anything about these graduates, I would tell you that for every single student in this room, it was an uphill battle making it to this ceremony today. The support you provided as confidants, advisors, mentors, and friends is what got us here. For just a moment, I and the rest of the student body would like to thank you for your support. I would like to very briefly thank my family who couldn't be here today. My father is at the moment flying a Boeing somewhere over the east coast of the United States. My mother waking up early to teach English to American kids. My brother staying up late to teach English to Japanese kids in Nagoya. To all of them, there's no way I could have made it here without you. And to the class of... I like them, they're good. I like them. To the class of 2013. I realized in preparing this speech that I don't have much to offer in the way of worldly wisdom and experience. There are some younger siblings in the back of the room who likely have more work experience than I do, so I won't go there. But I want to speak to you as we. As a class, we have faced some of the biggest burdens of any class in the Institute's history. And for each one, we faced it and we excelled. When we got here, we didn't have a student residence, so we flooded Geneva with housing requests, and we stayed on couches just because that was the only place we could find, but we found it. And the best part is, we said this isn't going to happen to future students. As Professor Archidiakono read out the names earlier, there were so many students that volunteered, their names came up in my memory as students who volunteered to host students of the class after us on their couches and host them in their living rooms so that they didn't have to go through what we went through. En masse, we connected with hundreds and hundreds of prospective, applying, and incoming students over social media. We did this so much that the class after us immediately turned around and did it for the class after them because it became normal. We continue to be a huge source of assistance and comfort for students who are arriving. We were burdened with a city that some would say might not have the best social scene. One alumnus wrote, "According to prophecy, all life will disappear and it will be called the apocalypse. But in Geneva, we call it the weekend." We were given a city where sometimes there's not a lot to do, and so we wrote, designed, and executed one of the best student productions in this school's history twice with our cabarets. We were a burdened class. We watched buildings sprout up that we'll never use. We knew students in the future might have it a lot easier than us. There's no reason that now we should have to take something else on our shoulders. But we need to. I need to address you as we, because there's one more thing that the class of 2013 needs to do. We need to stay as we. So we have two choices. When we hear Madame Bruegel come up to say the last words, we smile, shake hands, and filter out. We can go on to individual careers that will be incredible. While we might struggle at the beginning and we might struggle later on, I am confident that we'll succeed, and that will happen. That's a choice I want us to take. But there's a second road, and this is what I'm challenging us to do, is to remain as we. There are practical reasons for doing this. One of my favorite things about the Institute is that this room, this section, probably contains a future head of state, a major minister, a head of an NGO, a CEO, the head of a nonprofit. It's crazy. Look around and think about the students who have inspired you the last 2 years. I don't doubt it for a second. We must remain we because we have the ability to be hands down one of the closest, most effective, most international alumni networks on the face of the planet with a graduate in so many countries. We must remain we because the class of 2013 has a chance to start something incredible right now. Right in this moment and in the months following this ceremony, we have the ability to be at the core of a new community, a new identity, and a new approach for being alumni of this school. We have leaders to help us out with this. Briefly, can the class leaders just stand so we can see them briefly again? Marco, Kristen, Anais, Marcos, Arlie. These students are tasked with a difficult job. They'll lead our effort in creating this community. Together, they'll organize the class of 2013 to achieve an institute community in a way that's not been done before. But they need your help. There's no way these 5 students can do that job without you to update them on what you're doing, responding to emails, and connecting as much as possible to the students who are currently at the Institute. Class of 2013, we must remain we, because if we are successful in this, then just like students look back and see what we've accomplished when we were here, students of the future will hear about the class of 2013 because of how connected we are, maybe even over Facebook and LinkedIn, how much mentorship we provide through email, and the valuable connections through helping out current institute students get a leg up. We must remain we because the class of 2013 has such potential and drive sitting in this room right now that we can bring a spirit of innovation to organizations and governments plagued by inefficiency and stagnation. It's enough for us to go home with the ability to spark change in our countries, and it's enough to spread throughout the world and improve wherever we go. Together, we offer so much. Class of 2013, at this new beginning of we, I thank you, and I look forward to seeing what we will accomplish. Congratulations.
Well, Connor thought I would just let you go, but there's some homework to do. First, assignment. You got an email message telling you there's going to be a survey to fill out, an exit survey. Please fill it out. It would be just fantastic to know how we can improve the Graduate Institute. So I would really like you to urge you to please don't forget about that and fill out that nice survey. Second, pictures. All the pictures are available outside for pickup, so don't forget it. Just go out there, you can get them all now. And finally, there is a reception waiting out there. The sun is going down, it's 5 o'clock, past 5 o'clock. Let's get out there, let's celebrate. Congratulations, and I see you all.